I've only read one Goosebumps book in full, Beware the Snowman, and that was enough to scare me into never picking up another Goosebumps book. I guess you could say it did a good job of giving me goosebumps, right? Am I right? Okay. But despite me not reading the series, it doesn't mean that it was not without its own audience. You see, the Goosebumps books was and still is a successful book series, spawning 2 TV series, a video game series, 2 movies, and becoming one of the best-selling book series in history with 400 million copies sold worldwide. Yes, we are going to explore the success of Goosebumps. Let's start with the mastermind behind it all, R.L. Stine, often considered the Stephen King of children's literature. R.L. Stine was born on October 8th of 1943. Growing up in Ohio, he began writing at the age of 9 after discovering a typewriter in his attic. One of his earlier influences was Tales from the Crypt, a horror comic series published between 1950 and 1955. Interestingly, Stine didn't originally plan to write horror. In a 2024 interview with The Q, he said, and I quote, "I've always just been funny," said Stine. "I never planned to be scary or anything. My ambition in life was to have my own humor magazine, and I did that. I had a magazine at Scholastic for kids called Bananas for 10 years. It was my own mad magazine. Then I said, forget the funny stuff. Kids like to be scared, and I've been scary ever since." End quote. Bananas ran for 72 issues from 1975 to 1984. During the time, Stine also wrote many humor books under the name Jovel Bob Stine. In 1986, he wrote his first horror novel, Blind Date, followed by several other novels. And then came his most successful series, wait for it, Fear Street. Fear Street is a teenage horror fiction series that debuted in 1989. Set in the fictional town of Shadyside, the series features older teens encountering darker, more gruesome events than those in the Goosebumps series. By 2010, Fear Street had sold over 80 million copies worldwide, appeared on the bestseller list, and even had its own TV and film adaptations. But that's enough about Fear Street. Let's jump right into Goosebumps. The original Goosebumps series was published from 1992 to 1997, totaling a total of 62 books, and that does not include the many spin-off series. And let me tell you, there was a lot of them. Though Stine never lost his comedic touch, he describes Goosebumps as scary books that are also funny. Nevertheless, the books are still categorized under thriller and horror. So what makes Goosebumps so good? Well, let's start with the writing style. Written in the first-person narrative, each book features different characters encountering unique elements of horror. The settings are often in isolated areas, such as suburban areas, boarding schools, villages, or campsites. The characters face supernatural events and strange creatures and usually encounter a twist ending. Notably, there is no death in Stine's Goosebumps stories, as he felt it would be a little bit too serious of a topic for young readers. Neither is there any drugs or violence. One of the major factors contributing to the series' success is the phenomenal cover art. Tim Jacobus was the primary illustrator from 1992 to 2000, using traditional painting techniques to create the covers. Originally, Scholastic had considered another artist, Jim Thiessen, who was known for the cover of Stay Out of the Basement. But the job ultimately went to Jacobus, largely due to his use of vibrant color saturation. Jacobus applied various color combinations to each cover, ensuing no 2 covers repeating the same scheme. His exaggerated characters and attention to detail, creative angles, the use of shadows and lightings made each cover truly stand out, drawing readers in before they even opened the book. Diane Roback, editor of Publishers Weekly, is quoted as saying, "The first 27 paperback backlist titles on our list are all Goosebumps. The phenomenon is even more astounding when you add up the sales. Scholastic sold 19 million copies of Goosebumps frontlist titles in 1995 and 12 million backlist titles, for a grand total of 32 million copies sold. End quote. Goosebumps was a bestseller in many countries, including the US, the United Kingdom, France, and Australia. In 1996, the book series accounted for 15% of Scholastic's annual revenue. By 2008, the company reported a 82% brand awareness amongst children between the ages of 7 to 12. By 2014, Goosebumps had translated into 32 languages. That includes Chinese, Czech, Spanish, and Hebrew. Of course, with success also comes challenging times. Over the years, the series saw a decline in popularity, and critics were often not too kind. Many called the books artificial, formulaic, predictable, and repetitive. The series was also placed on some banned lists, as it was challenged for being too occultish and demonic for children. Despite a few setbacks, the Goosebumps series remains one of the most successful and iconic book series of all time. Its ability to captivate young readers and introduce them to a world of horror and suspense has made it a staple of childhood for generations. R.L. Stine's talent for blending humor with scares has solidified his stature as a master of children's horror, ensuing that Goosebumps will continue to thrill and inspire young readers for years to come. What do you guys think? What is your favorite horror book? I want to know any novel or series that you've read before and you were kind of given the spooks. Comment down below and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!